Okay, we're going to do radical equations. Buckle your seatbelts. Okay. The thing to keep in mind with radical equations is if I have the square root of a number, so say we have the square root of 2, and I square it, what will I get? Well, that would be the same thing as square root of 2 times the square root of 2, which would equal the square root of 4. Square root of 4 is equal to 2. Now, we can skip a lot of steps. You can either do it that way, or you can know that when the index, this is the index, the little number, we don't write it for square roots, but when the index matches the exponent, the 2, the number under the radical is freed. So the little rule for this is if we have the square root of x and we square it, we simply get x. That's what we want to keep in mind for this lesson. So these equations have radicals in them. Our goal is to free the x. In order to do that, the first thing you want to do is isolate the radical. So you want to get everything on the side with the radical away from the radical and isolate it. Later we're going to have problems where we have radicals on both sides, more than one radical. But for right now we only have one radical, so we want to isolate it. So we have the square root of x minus 4. Adding 2 to both sides will give us 8. Once we isolate the radical, you can see we have a radical, and if we square that radical, what's underneath it will be freed. So we're going to square it. However, whatever you do to one side, you have to do the other side of the equation to keep it balanced. That's very important. So we have a radical squared, so what's under it is freed. X minus 4 equals 64, and we add 4 to both sides and we get x equals 68. I think these are pretty easy, slightly fun. Anytime we have to free a variable, I find that fun for some reason. And here's another one. Isolate the radical, so we get x plus 4 equals, we're going to subtract 2 from both sides, and we get negative 9. Looking to see where I got this problem. Yep. Okay. Negative 9, and then we're going to square both sides to free that x. Make sure when you square the negative you put parentheses around the whole thing. So we get x plus 4 equals 81. Subtract 4 from both sides and we get x equals 77. You should always check these, because oftentimes they give you extraneous roots or no real solution. So I'm just going to check this one. If I put 77 up here, I get 77 plus 4. So it would be 77 plus 4 would be 81. Square root of 81 plus 2 equals minus 7. Square root of 81 equals minus 9. And this would be 9 does not equal negative 9. So this one actually would be no solution. Those are tricky and it's hard to remember to check them. But you should just check these ones and make sure that it works. Okay, one more. Well, more than one, but we're going to get the square root of x minus 3. If I add 3 to both sides, we're going to get 8. Square both sides. And we get x minus 3 equals 64. Add 3 to both sides, we get x equals 67. And then we should check it. 67 minus 3 is 64, so it would give us 8. 8 minus 3 is 5. Okay, now we have a trinomial going on underneath a radical. Same idea. Isolate the radical. X squared plus 2x plus 13 equals x. Now we're going to add 3. This gets a lot more complicated actually. And we're going to square both sides. So square that side. Make sure you square everybody over here. These guys are all free. X squared plus 2x plus 13 are free terms. On this side we have a binomial squared. The last thing you want to do is do x squared plus 9. Bad, bad, bad. This is x plus 3 times x plus 3. use FOIL. Now anytime you have a binomial squared, there's a little rule. You can either do first, outer, inner, last, or you can do this little rule. And if you can learn this rule, it will help you in the future to do problems faster. You square the first term, multiply these guys together, times 2, because it's x, and square the last term. It just saves you a little bit of time, because the outer and the inner are always going to be the same when it's binomial squared. So you square the first one, multiply these together times 2, square the last one. I always do that. Okay, you have x squared on both sides. If you subtract it from both sides, they're gone. We can bring, it depends if we want to make it negative or positive, but if we bring the 2x, subtract it from the 6x, we're going to get 4x. And if we subtract 9 from 13, we're going to get 4. And we get x equals 1. You should check it, and it works. And that's how you do those. Okay, I have 2 problems I want you to try by yourself. So you're going to do one. Turn off the video while you do it. Turn it back on and see if you did it correctly. And then turn off the video, do the second one yourselves, and then see if you did it correctly. This will really give you a good idea whether you can do them or not, or whether when you watch me it just seems easy. So turn off the video, pause the video right now, and try number 1. Okay, hopefully you did it, and you've got, I don't even know the answer. Let's do it. So we get the square root of x minus 3 equals 7. Square both sides. We get x minus 3 equals 49. X equals, add 3, so we get 52. We should check these though. 52 minus 3 is 49. So that would be 7. Square root of 49 is 7. It always seems to be whatever this number is. Minus 3 does equal 4. So that one works. Okay, try the next one. Pause the video now and try it. Okay, this one's a little bit harder. Isolate the radical. Okay, when we have ourselves a binomial on the right-hand side, which causes a little trouble, square them out. These guys are free. X squared plus 8x plus 15. Let's do our little method. Square the first one, multiply these two together times 2, 10x. Square the last one. The x squareds cross out. We'll bring the 8x to the right by subtracting it. With 2x, we'll subtract 25 and get minus 10. We get x equals minus 5. And we should check it. So that would be minus 5 squared is 25 minus 40. So 25 minus 40 plus 15. And that seems like we're going to get ourselves a negative number. Let me pull up my calculator here to do these calculations. Alright. So we have, our answer is minus 5. So it's going to be 25 minus 40 plus 15. And that gives us 0. Negative 5 equals negative 5, and that is correct, so our answer is check. Alright, that's it for lesson 48.